J in the morning. Power 106.7. Live and direct. Let's go.
Hey, this is Gabriele Iglesias and Gay Double J. I love your face.
Wait, did you just call me Gay Double J? I love your face.
I know I probably said that too fast, right? Sorry about that.
How you been, Gabriel?
I'm everywhere, man. I'm amped up on about 46 ounces of coffee, and I'm ready to rock.
Are you a big coffee drinker?
I am, and ever since I've been in the film business, which is like 2 months, I've been drinking a lot more coffee. There's a lot less sleep for my butt.
You're a legit bona fide movie star now.
Yeah.
The last time we talked to you was in January when you were promoting The Nut Job, which, by the way, I just had to pay $19.99 for my kids so I could buy them that on DVD. You're welcome, by the way, Gabriel. What is the difference between being on television and being in movies? Is there a big difference?
Well, usually with TV, like for example, a sitcom, you got a live studio audience, and you can knock out an entire episode in basically a day.
Right.
Versus a film, man, it takes months, depending on if it's live action or if it's animation. Animation used to make a movie. However, the voicing of it takes 2 days.
What do you like better? Do you like doing movies or television better?
Man, I like doing stand-up. Me being a comedian, that was my focus in life. I mean, everything else is bonus. I won't stop doing this, but if I'm given an opportunity to be on a TV show, I'll go for it if it makes sense. And the same thing goes with movies. And the fact that I'm being given a chance to do my stand-up in a film, it doesn't get any bigger than that for me, as far as I'm concerned. So everything else that happens after that is just icing.
I was watching an episode of Key and Peele that you were featured on when the kids stole some other kid's joke. And then every time, you know what episode I'm talking about?
Yeah, Hayapatno's joke.
Do you work a lot with other comedians?
Well, I travel with a group of guys, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, we're always all over the place, so I rarely get to run into any other comedians.
Last time we talked, we asked you about going to Saudi Arabia and doing stand-up in Saudi Arabia. And after we finished the interview, we put together this video on YouTube. It's crazy because there's a lot of people who they say they're diehard Gabriele Iglesias fans, but I go and read the comments and people are like, Double J, admit it's fake that you're talking to Gabriele Iglesias. This is a made-up interview. I'm like, how obnoxious and annoying is that? What's the most annoying thing that a fan has ever done to you?
Not necessarily. Well, being drunk. If I'm drunk, it's cool. But sometimes, I've had fun at me, and when I say kidnap, I mean, come hang out. I'm like, okay, I'll go hang out, but I don't have a ride. Don't worry, we'll give you a ride. And next thing I know, I'm stuck somewhere, and I have no way of getting out. And I've got 4 people around me. No, let's take another picture. All right, now record a video for my cousin. All right, now sign this. And I'm like, hey, I gotta go. And they're like, oh, see how you are? You gotta go. And so I'll get faced with a guilt trip and then a threat of no ride.
Yeah, next thing you know, you're smoking Kookadook and you're out in East L.A. somewhere,
You were hilarious in a Haunted House 2 with Marlon Wayans. Was that all improv or was that actually scripted?
You know what's cool with Marlon is that he asks you to do the script the first time and then he'll let you improvise like 2 to 3 takes after that. So, he basically says, all right, you need to get from point A to point B, whatever you do in between, have fun. I gotta say, at least 70% of what you saw in the movie was improvised.
You guys went back and forth a lot with a lot of the Mexican stereotypes versus black stereotypes. How do you feel when it comes to like those type of jokes?
You know what? I didn't have a problem with it because I knew that it was so over the top and it comes from a different place.
Yeah.
If I was meant to play serious, a serious role like that and everything I was saying was meant to be serious, then I'd have a problem with it. But the fact that it was meant to be that, it was meant to be so over the top that it was making fun of all the stereotypes. I was all for it. And, Marlon's even calling me up. He's like, hey, man, he goes, what would a stereotypical Mexican family drive? And I'm like, oh, that's an Impala, dude. And we have more, how many people in the car? And I'm like, more than whatever is allowed by law. So we had fun with it, and he goes, push the envelope, push it as hard as you can this way, and he goes, I'll push it as hard as I can the other way. And that's why you saw the scenes that you saw in the movie, because it's like, and he goes, this is a rated R movie, it's a hard rated R, so, go for it. I mean, there's one point in the Haunted House too where Marlon Wayans is having sex with a doll. Yeah. And it looks like he's really having sex with the doll.
Sweaty and everything, it's all bad.
Hey, you grew up in Riverside and Compton, Long Beach area, right?
I tell people, my mom and I didn't move, we migrated. We were everywhere.
Hey, how come you're not gangbanging somewhere? Like, how come you didn't get into the gangs, or did you ever start and then you went, this ain't for me?
You know what? I grew up in areas where there was a lot of violence and neighborhoods where, you'd hear the gunfire, and my mom conditioned me to hit the floor. I mean, it was just one of those things where I think, she saw the writing on the wall, and she made it a point to keep me inside as much as possible and keep me away from, I used to tell stories about how my mom would say, Mijo, you got to get inside. You can't play with sniper and cucuy anymore. You got to get in the house. So by not playing with sniper and cucuy, I managed to make it out.
Did you ever consider joining a gang, or was it always, I'm just not interested in it?
No, I mean, main thing is you want to fit in. And so when you're hanging out with your friends and they're like, well, we would have actual conversations. All right, what gang are you going to belong to? I don't know, I want to belong to this one. All right, what gang you want to belong to? And when I think back to those conversations, I'm like, wow, this could have easily gone a different direction. Fortunately, my mom stepped in and kept me from going that route. But as a kid, it could have totally happened.
Hey, yeah, you could have been featured on Bait Car or something. That would have been cool. Let's talk about your new movie, The Fluffy Movie.
Well, the cool part about this is it's what I've been doing all these years. It's my stand-up. It's one big concert that was filmed. And, to be playing on this platform, it's, I could thank a few people for this one. I especially want to give a shout-out next time you get a chance to talk to him, is Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's a friend, and if he wouldn't have had the success he had with his last two concert films, I wouldn't have been given this opportunity. The film company saw how much it cost him to make those movies and then how much they generated. And just based on that math, and they said, you know what, we see that you got a pretty strong fan base. Would you be interested in doing a movie? And it caught me off guard because, you know what, at the time I was trying to work out an HBO deal to do a special there. And I'm like, well, I think movies trumps HBO.
Yeah.
So really, it's because of Kevin Hart that this movie was able to be made.
Yeah, he had two very strong back-to-back films, and Hollywood wants the next guy. Okay, somebody did this. All right, who's the next guy? And so they felt that was me, and I was like, okay, let's see what happens.
The movie is in theaters July 11th. One final question. Last time we talked, you talked about stereotypes, and you mentioned it a few minutes ago, but how it irritates you that George Lopez does these stereotypical Mexican scenes, right?
Some of the stuff, he kind of pushed the envelope a little bit, and, I get people saying, hey, we appreciate the fact that you don't have to take us down that road. We get it. We know who we are and where we come from and how we can be perceived. And, it's just one of those things where we wanted to be part of the bigger picture, not part of what everybody else seems to think that we are.
And is that the advice that you would give to George Lopez if he was listening right now?
First of all, I don't think he would listen to me. I think George would do whatever George wants to do, and he's been very successful with what he's done. So, and also, he's one of those guys, I got to thank the fact that he's had the amazing career he's had.
Right.
Because if he wouldn't have had this TV shows and opportunities, I probably wouldn't have had those. So, I could give whatever advice, but ultimately, he was there first. He did it first. So, again, there's no advice I can really give him.
But you still respect George.
Yeah, absolutely. As a performer, there's no doubt. He's opened up a lot of doors.
Gabriele Iglesias, The Fluffy Movie. It's in theaters July 11th.
Everybody can go watch it. It's not rated R. It's family friendly, and you're going to find out all about me in this one. I'm coming clean on everything.
Thank you, Gabriel. We appreciate you hanging out with us this morning, man.
Double J, I love your face.
And that's how it's done.
Wake up, wake up. Wake up with Double J in the morning. Weekdays 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Power 106.7.